us an update.
Where do we begin? we have a video going of fixing this radiator, so I can update that. I decided to cut out this section. So rather than cap all these lines here, I decided to cap them up here where they come right out of this top thing, because it was easier to get a secure connection. So I've got most of them capped. I just have one little leak, which is keeping us from going here, just down in here. And yep. So the roads have been really bad. So we've been trying to go over them with the grater and kind of squeegee the water off, and I think that's probably not been working very well. But I tried it again this morning because we got probably 8 or 10 inches of snow, and so I went down to kind of scrape the snow off to just get a little bit less or more water off the road. And we have one turn where we put in a culvert last year, and the grater tire slipped off the edge down into the ditch, which high centered the blade. And so for the last hour and a half, I've been trying to maneuver and put stuff under the tires and lift it to get the grater unstuck, but that's not happening. And since it's in that one particular spot, there's nowhere to get around it to get out of here. So the grater is blocking our trail out. So we could shovel a trail or do something else if we absolutely had to. So we have a few options. We could try to just blaze a new trail with the army truck through the snow, and that probably would work. We probably can make it out like that. We tried pulling the grater with just my F350, but it's just too high centered and stuck down there. So now the next option is to quickly get this dozer in operation and go down there, and I would chain the front of it to some trees, and we have a 30,000 pound winch on the back, and hopefully we can pull it out with that. If we can't do it with that, we got serious problems. But in order for all that to work, we need to get this back in there and make sure that this is working and not getting overheated. And all of this is in crisis mode because the girls have dance this afternoon. So if we don't get out of here, then we'd be better off jumping off the deck or something. I don't know what, because the girls go crazy when they can't do dance. So I don't have time to epoxy this. So I've got one little spot in here that left. I'm going to try to use a torch and solder it, which is a good method, except for part of this is epoxy. So I'm going to have to heat up this epoxy because it's right on the edge of where I need to solder. So that's the only thing that's not good, but I'm going to do this. Hopefully that will stick good enough so we can throw it in the dozer, go down, get the grater unstuck, and get the girls to dance.
You need the flashlight?
Yeah, I have. That might work. This is how much solder I have left. This is all that stands between us and crazy kids being stuck here with them. If this still leaks, we can take some fluid with us, and enough to keep it from getting warm. Get down there, unstick the grater, then I'd probably drain all the fluid out of here so there was no water in the system. But I don't want to do that. Hopefully that works. Okay, so we don't really have to wait any time. That's dried. And hopefully it works. Like, I probably won't put all the guards and everything back on the dozer right now. Just going to get this in there and get it started and drivable. See if we can get the grater out of our way. And then we'll bring it back, put all the guards and everything on it.
back in. Now we're just trying to get it all bolted.
I think there's a large chance that this is going to leak. But this was like our last resort to make our way out of here because the grader's blocking our trail. So we're just going to go for it. Kinley, can you collect all these tools?
Yeah.
We'll put all the guards and everything on later. Let's get some fluid in here and get it started and see what it's looking like. Luckily the spot that leaks, I think, will be up here. Is that last spot we soldered?
If we saw it leaking, where would we see the leak come from?
It would be up in here. It won't leak yet. We gotta get it all the way full. It's fine. If it leaks off that top part, the majority of the fluid will stay in there and it'll still, if we watch the temperature gauge, we can use it to get the thing unstuck and then repair it properly.
It's like a Christmas miracle. It started. Now we just got to see if it's leaking. He's just going to finish putting more coolant in.
Put that in there, and then you stay out of the way,
Okay?
and I'll have Link run the dozer, and I'll try to back up. We just need to get like a foot. That's all we need. But if that cable snaps, he'll be protected by this cage. So just stay away. It'll pull straight. Yeah, this is fun.
Okay. Let's get it done. Okay, so you gonna try it first?
I think it links to the front.
Okay, so we have to chain the bulldozer to a couple of trees so that when he winches the grader, the bulldozer won't just get sucked back to the grader. This is like the biggest debacle. I really wish I was like making this up. This really is like our life. This is what our vehicles look like all the time, and this is the mud that we are dealing with. Okay, I say all the time. It doesn't look like this all the time, just when the snow melts or when we get a rainstorm. But we normally have at least one emergency vehicle that can like pull all the other vehicles out, or it's like, oh, if this happens, then we'll just go get this vehicle. But all of our good vehicles are stuck. So we're hoping we can get them pulled out. The bulldozers seem to have, the fluids seem to have, the coolant stayed in the radiator. That stuff seems like it worked. So now it's just whether or not we can dislodge this grader. The grader is in the middle of the road and it's unpassable on all the other sides. It's over a 10-foot culvert, so we couldn't just go around it even if we wanted to. It's like seriously the worst case scenario, because if the grader had gotten stuck somewhere else, we'd just do a little path around it and it would be a 10-foot detour in the road, but we're stuck right now. So we really need to just get the grader pulled out and over to the side of the road, and then we'd be able to pass it. The grader did, for some reason the front left tire went flat, even though the front right tire is the one that went over the into the ditch. So it'll have to sit here for a little bit while we fix the tire once we get it out.
Way down, right? And then you want to give it a little throttle and just go. You watch my hand signal. Heck, if I put my hand up at all, stop. Heck. Once I get in there, I'll give you the signal to go. Heck, heck. I just get so emotional every time we get unstuck. I'm just so grateful. What a mess. Hopefully, you might need to go to remove it with that tire flat, but okay, good. Need the water to go over here. Ditch.
4 years ago when we bought this land, this was a point, this was a part of our road that was really, really bad. This used to go down like 6 or 8 feet. There was like a ditch right here on this S curve, and this is where all of the water all pooled here, and it was like you had to get a running start to get through it. You would get a running start and then, is he coming? To get through here. So we got a culvert and we put it there, and then we built up the earth around it. So on the whole, it's been awesome having the culvert here. This is the first time that this place has been problematic, but we've had an unreasonable amount of snow and rain that has made this just almost not passable for us. I'm a little bit nervous. We're supposed to get seven days of rain next week, so. Okay, here we are. We're driving home from the S-curve. Lincoln, thanks for your help. Yeah. So, we got the grader unstuck. He got the road kind of smoothed out a little bit with a bulldozer. We don't want to push our luck with the bulldozer because we're not 100% sure if that leak is fixed with the soldering that we did this morning. So we're just going to leave it parked there with the grader that obviously needs a new tire, and feeling pretty happy. I think by the time we get home, I should be able to change into my city clothes, get my girls, and then head down to dance.
So the bulldozer repair went okay. It's possible. We may need to do it again, but I think all having a bulldozer is the only way to go.
Yeah.
There's no way that was coming out.
Yeah.
We could have hooked the army trucks to it. I mean, it was in there. It was in there good. It took all the pulling that 30,000 pound winch could do to rip it out of there. So.
Well, and it's like even me just trying to walk, and I was helping to pull the winch line out, and my boots were suctioning into the mud. I mean, that's what the grader was. It was just totally suctioned into the mud. It was awful. Awful muddy, deep spot. So anyway, hopefully that is the end of this adventure today. I realize that some people pay big bucks to go on adventures all over the world, and for us it's just an adventure sometimes getting to town, getting some groceries, and my kids had an orthodontist appointment that they had to miss. But every day really is an adventure. It really is. I'm glad I got this MacGyver of the mountains here to help pull us through and keep us all running. So.